stay with us because we are talking about how to overcome the price objection, which was always something that was difficult, but in today's economy it has simply become that much more difficult. And I am so happy to be able to introduce my friend and colleague, Mike Brooks. Mike is the founder and the principal of Mr. Inside Sales. It's a Los Angeles-based inside sales consulting and training firm. He is the author of award-winning books on inside sales. He's written The Real Secrets of the Top 20%, and his new book is The Ultimate Book of Phone Scripts. Mike started his career in the financial and securities industry, and he quickly became the top producer out of 5 branch offices in Southern California. He was promoted to Executive Vice President in sales. He developed a top 20% inside sales training program that doubled corporate sales of private placements from $27 million a year to over $58 million a year in 1988. And then more than doubled that again in 1989 to a total revenue of over $112 million. So this is somebody that knows what he's talking about. Since that time, Mike has consulted with business owners in many different industries. His experience has proven that the 80-20 rule applies to all sales teams regardless of industry, and moreover, once sales reps and managers learn and apply best practices of the top 20%, the techniques and strategies, their sales performance and their morale immediately improves. So you can visit Mr. Inside Sales at mrinsidesales.com, but don't do that right now, because right now I'm going to turn everything over to Mike Brooks. Welcome, Mike.
Wendy, thank you very, very much for that nice introduction. And I'd like to welcome all of Wendy's list members, and I'd like to say a very, very special welcome to all of my clients who are on the call as well. Hey, welcome everybody. We've got a great program for you today. And Wendy, I can't wait to cover one of the most important topics in all of sales, which is how to overcome the price objection. Okay, let me lay down some ground rules so everybody on the call, we've got hundreds and hundreds of people on this call, many signing up right now. I'd like to say hello to everybody already on the call. Let me give you an idea of how you can get the most out of today's program. Number one, get something to write with. I'm going to give you word-for-word proven scripts that you can begin using immediately, not only to overcome the price objection, but other objections as well. Plus, I'm going to give you a killer voicemail script that is going to get your calls returned. You're going to want to take notes, so get something to write with. Number two, at the end of this call, I'm going to be making a very special offer, and you're going to want to stick around to the end and take advantage of something that you'll never see again. So make sure and stay to the end of the call. Lastly, I'm also going to answer questions from you, the audience. Any sales-related question I'm going to help you with as well. So let's go ahead and move in here. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to cover today, how to overcome the price objection. We're going to cover a little bit about the 80-20 rule in sales, and this is crucially important because, as you know, 80% of the sales and revenue at your company and in the industry in general are usually made by that top 20% elite group. Heck, maybe you are one of those top 20% closers, and we're going to show you today a few of the proven strategies they use to attain that. Next, we're going to talk about what to do and what not to do when you get the price objection. Some of you are going to be surprised at what you shouldn't be doing, and many of you are going to be relieved when you find out exactly how to handle the price objection. Then I'm going to give you the single technique that's going to allow you to understand what the real objection is when you get the price objection. Next, we're going to give you 3 more proven scripts. Once again, these are going to be word-for-word scripts that are going to allow you to deal with what is hiding behind the objection. We're going to talk about smoke screens here, and you're going to understand why. And then I'm going to give you a bonus voicemail script for prospects who are not calling you back. In other words, if you ever had a prospect where you've gotten information out to, you've called back to close, you've left voicemails, sent emails, and they seem to have disappeared into that black hole. I don't know where they go, but they often don't return. I'm going to show you a voicemail script that will get them to call you back. How valuable will that be? And then I'm going to teach you about the power of being prepared for all objections. So once again, we have a full program going to give you a ton of information that you can immediately begin using to be more effective in your selling environment. So here we go. Let's first of all talk about the 80-20 rule in sales. Hey, if you've been in sales for any length of time, then you know it's true the top 20% producers make 80% of the sales and the income in any company or industry. And I'll tell you now, years ago I asked myself when I was a bottom 80% producer, I'd say, hey, you know what? We all have the same product that we're selling, the same training, the same leads, hours in a day. What in the world is going on? Why is there such a disparity between performance? You know what? The problem is that the 80% of sales reps are generally ad-libbing and making it up as they go along. And if you're doing that currently, you know how difficult it is to remain consistent, to overcome the objections that you get day in and day out. You know what the difference is? The top 20% are prepared in advance with proven scripts and techniques. And guess what they do? They practice perfection. You know that old saying, practice makes perfect? It is not true. Practice only makes permanent, doesn't it? Think about it. If you practice something incorrectly, you're going to get really good at automatically doing something wrong. Well, you know what? The top 20% have made it their business to find and use and practice the most successful techniques. That's why they're top 20% producers. And by the way, because of that, their jobs become easy. Easy is a word we rarely hear associated with sales. But if you're doing things right, if you understand and use the best practices of handling objections, then you're going to do it with confidence. And this is what leads the top 20% to closing most of the sales. Now, here's the good news, and I love working with sales reps and companies because you know what? Sales is a skill. Wendy says this all the time, and you know it's true. Guess what? Sales are a set of skills that anyone can learn, and if you practice and use these proven skills, you too will become a top 20% producer. So let's dive into the material. Let's first of all talk about what not to do when you get the price objection. Are you ready? Answer it. That's right. Some of you are thinking, what do you mean answer it? You got to answer it. No, you don't. The reason you don't want to answer the price objection is because most of the time it is simply a smokescreen. In fact, let me ask you this in your experience. How many times have you gotten the price objection, attempted to answer or overcome it, and then have you ever found you were met with yet another objection? Well, you know what? Now we're going to really need to think about this. And then another objection. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to really run this by the boss. And then another objection. You see, here's the deal. The smoke screen is, I think the price is too high. It's not in the budget. That's a smoke screen most of the time. It's not the real objection. All right, Mike, so what should you do when you get the price objection? Here's the one technique that is going to change the way that you handle the price objection. You need to isolate the objection first. This is the only way to expose the price objection as a smokescreen. And I'm going to show you the way to do that next. And again, you're going to want to get your pens out. You're going to want to get your paper. You're going to want to take notes here because I'm going to give you a technique that is going to put so much power in your hands. Hey, the top 20% are empowered as professionals. You'll be empowered when you use this technique as well. All right, so here it is. If you get any kind of price objection, whether it's your price is too high or we don't have the budget or we can't afford it. Again, any variation of the price objection, you simply say, hey, I understand, John. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. If price weren't an issue on this, would you move on this today and place an order with me? Now, I want to just say one thing about this objection and this rebuttal. If that is a little too strong for you, or if that doesn't fit in your sale or with your product, then you can soften it a bit. Here's how you do that. Hey, I totally understand. And John, let me ask you something. If price weren't an issue on this, or you could say, hey, if this were more in alignment with what you were willing to spend, do you think that this is the right solution for you today? You see what I just did? I softened this rebuttal. However, I kept the spirit of it. I still isolated the objection. This is what I'm talking about when I say learning powerful tools. And here's your answer, everyone. Any other answer other than yes, I would, yes, this would fit, yes, this is what I'm looking for. Hey, if you don't get that yes, then guess what? Price is just a smokescreen hiding real objections. And again, if you're trying to answer a smokescreen, you've lost the sale. Sometimes, many times, in fact, price is really just a smokescreen hiding things like, hey, they think they can get it cheaper somewhere else. As soon as they hang up with you, they're going to go there. Or they can't justify the cost of your product or service, or yet they don't see the value yet. So if this, or they don't have the available cash or budget, let's say must use credit, you're going to need to offer a creative solution for them. But again, if this is what's hiding behind the price objection, thank God you've now found out what the real objection is. And number two, now what do you do? Well, here's what you do. You become prepared with proven scripts. So get your pens out. If somebody tells me they think they can get it cheaper somewhere else, here's what you say. Hey, John, you know what? Whenever you have options, price is usually the first and the easiest things to compare. But, there's a problem here. You see, when you compare price, what usually gets missed is comparing apples to apples. I'll tell you what I'll do. Go ahead, send me that other quote or offer that you've got, and I'll compare it directly to what we're offering you now. And I'll tell you, if I find that you're truly getting a better deal, I'll be the first one to tell you so. And if I find that we can match it and even give you a better price or service, then I'll do my best to give you the better overall deal. Either way, you'll win. How does that sound? Now, let's break down the script while you're writing it down. This is a powerful, very, very effective script for so many reasons. Number one, what you're doing, if you're in a quoting or bidding situation, obviously you need to get your hands on the other quote. Here's the good news with this script, and again, I've used this over and over again. What you're telling people is, hey, guess what? Send me what you've got, and I'll compare it to what we have now, and if you're getting a better deal, I'll tell you. And if I can match it, I'll give you an even better price or service. Hey, when you're in a bidding situation, you know as well as I do, your prospect wants to get the best deal. That's why they're pitting one company against another. Here you're making them an offer they can't refuse. You're telling them, hey, I'll give you either the best deal overall or I'll tell you you're getting the best deal. Either way, you'll win. This puts your prospects in the driver's seat, and that's where they want to be. The benefit for you is you now get to see exactly what it is they have, and you now have an opportunity to beat it. This is a phenomenal script, powerful, will get you results. Use it. You'll be happy you did. Second of all, did you notice when I read the script, it didn't sound like I was reading a script? You know what, John? Hey, I'll do it again. Hey, John, whenever you have options, hey, let's face it, price is usually the first and the easiest thing to compare. But, there's a problem here. Here's what it is. When you compare price, what usually gets missed is comparing apples to apples. Tell you what, go ahead, send me over the other quote you got, and here's what I'll do. I'll compare it directly to what we're offering you now. And here's the thing. If I find you're truly getting the better deal, I'll be the first one to tell you. And if I find that we can match it and give you even better pricing or service, then I'll do my best to give you the better overall deal. Either way, you'll win. How does that sound? You see, this is the power that scripts give you. You don't have to sound canned. Instead, you get to be like your favorite actor or actress who are making millions of dollars a picture, and hey, all they're doing is reading a prepared script, the same as you, but they're a professional because guess what? They can concentrate on the delivery of that information, on the pacing, the timing, intonation, and they can transfer emotion because of that. And guess what all top-selling professionals do? That exact thing. That's what these scripts can do for you. Let's move on to the next one. If they can't justify the cost, then say, hey, John, you know what? We're a business as well, and hey, when we look at something just like you, we know that what we're going to spend on our business, it's really an investment. You know, it's not only a cost. I mean, let's face it, it's an investment of time and energy and all that emotion and money. And you know what? When you look at it that way, it's not really just about the money. It's about the return. In other words, the results. I mean, think about it. If I invest $25,000 and then all of this energy and I get my management team together and we implement new systems in time, what in the heck am I going to get in return? You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, great. Well, let's look at this again. And this time, John, let's stay focused on the results that you're going to get. Now, list the benefits as they apply to your prospect one by one. And then say, you see, this is why my other clients use us for this, and I know that it'll make sense for you too. Let's go ahead and do this, and then move into your close. How effective or more effective are you going to be when you're prepared? And this is what all top 20% professionals do. They are prepared with the most proven techniques in scripting that easily, and again, I love that word easily allow them to be top producers by using these scripts. So that's how this works as well. Now, let's do it again. Let's go one more and talk about another technique that can help you also. If they can't see the value in the price, and this is one of my very, very favorites of all, if they can't see the value, here's my favorite close for this. Hey, John, you know what? You can always get it, talk about your product or service, for less money. Heck, I mean, we could even do a Google search right now, and I'll bet we could come up with a few different options that are even cheaper than what you're telling me you can get it for now. Well, here's the question. Why aren't you going with them? Isn't it because there comes a time when price isn't as important as the loss in quality or service or results? Isn't that true? You see, here's the thing. This is why our clients keep coming back to us. When you begin getting the results of your product or service, you'll also understand why our price is worth the value and the results that you get with us. I mean, let's face it, John, you can always get it for less money, but you can't get our results that pay for themselves over and over again. Let's go ahead and do this and then suggest starting with an introductory package. That is a great way to counter when they can't see the value, because it is true. They can get it for less money or, in their eyes, at a better perceived value. But why are they doing it? And again, what they're usually wanting is for you to justify your pricing and to build value. And you know what? You know where value really lies besides just your product? It relies with you and your company. And that's what they're really buying. Again, John, you can always get it for less money. Heck, we could do a Google search right now, and I'll bet we could come up with a few different options that are even less expensive than what you're telling me you can get it for now. The question is, why aren't you going with them? That's how you deliver this script. That's how you deliver this information. Okay, let's keep going on. We have a lot more information to give you. Let's just sum up the price objection here. Hey, the next time you get the price objection, please resist your temptation to answer it. Always isolate the price objection first and then carefully listen to their response and be prepared to use proven and scripted rebuttals to them. Again, this is what top 20% producers do. They apply these kinds of proven techniques to every part of their sales presentation. In fact, you can even use this technique when you get the objection, hey, I'm going to need to talk to my partner, boss, or manager. Again, many people, many sales reps, when they get this objection, they then say, oh, okay, well, when are you going to talk to him, and when should I call you back? Wow, that's the wrong way to handle this. Now you've created a chaser. Now you're going to have to try and track that person down and probably get put off again. Why not say, I totally understand. That makes sense to me. And let me ask you a quick question. If after you showed this to John, if he or she says, hey, it looks fine to me, do whatever you think, what would you do today? Again, you can soften this. Hey, if they say, hey, it looks good to me, whatever you say, do you think this is the right solution or fit for you today? You see, again, the beautiful thing about scripts is that you can keep the spirit of that script. In other words, you can keep the fundamental reason as to why they work and still be effective at closing sales. This script works. I use it every single time I get the, hey, I need to talk with, I need to speak with, I need to run this by. Again, it's a smoke screen. Let's find out what's behind it. Okay, now I hope, in fact, I'm seeing many great comments here. I hope you're getting a feeling for how, and here's the key, being prepared in advance can make you a top 20% producer. Once again, it's no secret why many sales reps struggle, and they don't need to, while the top 20% of producers easily make the most out of sales and get most of the bonuses. Again, they're prepared in advance. Let me just use that word there. Preparation, I believe, is the key to life. It's what makes every top professional the best at what they do. And it's particularly important in sales because, hey, let's face it, isn't it true that 80% of the selling situations and objections that you get day to day, aren't they the same ones you got yesterday, last week, and the month before that? Yeah, you see, I'll tell you, being prepared to handle these situations is what makes you successful. In fact, let me give you a script, a voicemail message that you can leave to help get people to return your calls. Hang on just one moment. Okay, here's what you do. Here's a voicemail for prospects who aren't calling you back. Hey, John, this is Mike Brooks again with the XYZ company. I'm sorry that we haven't been able to get back together on this. If you're like me, I'm sure you're being pulled in many different directions and are probably really busy. Do me a favor, though. When you get this message, just give me a call back and leave me a voicemail with what you've decided to do about your proposal or demo. If you're still interested in it, great. But even if you've decided not to move forward with it, that's fine as way. Either way, it'll just be nice for me to know. Hey, I'd like to thank you in advance for that, and I'll look forward to your call. You can reach me at, and then leave your number slowly. That number again is area code, leave your number slowly. Thanks again, John. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this voicemail message. Obviously, it means you're prepared. You can now concentrate on the delivery of your information, the pacing, rather than on what you're going to say. But the real magic with this script is it allows prospects to tell you the truth, to tell you what's going on, and all closers want to know that, hey, if they are really busy, which is oftentimes the case, then just leaving them voicemails or hammering them with emails, that only annoys them. You need to allow them to tell you, and that's what I love about this script. It says, please leave me a voicemail. So they're not afraid now that they're going to call and get you. Of course, they might, but they can leave you a voicemail. The other part about the script making it so effective is, guess what? You've given them a way out. You've said, hey, if you're not interested in it, no problem. just let me know that as well. Either way, it'll be nice for me to know. And you know what? As a closer, as a professional salesperson, you want to know that. If they're not interested, you don't want to keep chasing them. Instead, you want to move on to find a real buyer. This voicemail script will get you more returned phone calls than any other voicemail